So I just got off a Zoom call with Jamie Blanco from Hub on Hollywood, and she interviewed me for their podcast. So I am eager to share that with you. Links to everything is in the description below. I hope you enjoy.
Now, without further ado, let's get into this interview that Jamie has done with a local filmmaker, Julia Tutko-Balena. Great interview, a lot of fun, and I feel like there was a friendship forming during this interview between Julia and Jamie. So maybe we'll see more of Julia in the future. But without further ado, here is Jamie's interview.
And thank you for being here on the Hub on Hollywood. We are here with filmmaker Julia Tutko-Balena. You are working on a number of feature films right now. You run a networking group called Friendly Filmmaker Group, and you are local here to New England. Thank you, Julia, so much for being with us on the Hub on Hollywood.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So we're excited to have you. So you are friends of a friend of our show, Connor Morley, who we were talking to before.
Yep.
So you helped participate in the 48-hour film project. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into film?
Oh gosh. I think I was bitten by the acting bug first when I was like 9. I was bitten by the writing bug when I was about 12. I started writing short stories. I was bitten by the film bug when I was 18 or so in college, probably even before then. I was like, Mom, Dad, can I study film in college? And they're like, no, we want you to eat for a living. So you're going to go into math or computers or something if it's food on the table. I was like, can I do it on the side? They're like, sure.
Yeah.
And so I weaseled my way onto a few film sets when I was about that age, 18, 19 years old on my first film set. And I've been just side hustling it ever since. And then about 5, 6 years ago, at the same time, like 2 months, 3 months after my son was born, I also gave birth to my companies and just
Yeah.
been doing it by myself ever since.
That's a
So
lot of birthing for one year.
that was a lot.
Yeah, I have two kids, and so I'm
I've
right
got
there
two
with
now
you.
too. Yay. Twinsies.
Oh, yay. All right. So where in New England are you from?
Boston, born and bred.
Born and
Yep.
bred in Boston.
Yep.
How do you feel about the film industry here in New England? Because it just seems like every year there are more and more opportunities. And do you get a sense
There are.
of that as well?
I absolutely get that sense. I feel like the community was pretty small when I first started, but maybe I don't know if it was just my own experience, like trying to reach out and find people. Back in the days of Craigslist, I actually met one of my longtime friends on Craigslist before it got all sketchy and murdery on there.
Yeah.
And we've been friends for like 20 something years now. And she was up in Maine. She came all the way down to meet me at Copley Library to work on her script, her feature script. And ever since then, the networks grow. I met a friend who wants to do something. They met a friend who wants to do something else. I go on their sets. They help on my sets. It's just, it's growing. It feels like my network is growing. And so maybe the community is growing, but I think it's both at the same time.
Yeah.
Like my worldview is expanding almost at the same time that the city's film community is growing and becoming more vibrant. Also, social media has a lot to do with it too, I feel, because this when I first started, again, it was like Craigslist. Facebook was
Mhm.
coming out, like MySpace was still a thing. You got your top
Yeah.
8 set up.
Yeah.
Do you remember MySpace anymore?
Exactly.
But
That's where I met my husband, actually. I met him on MySpace.
hilarious and lovely. That's a
Yeah.
heck of a
Yeah.
story. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I want more.
I'll tell you more
Yeah,
after.
I love it. I'm in. We'll grab a coffee after this. Um, but yeah, so social media is gaining ground, and so I feel like people are putting more of their work out there, and there's a bigger presence online. But I feel like people were still making projects on the side in their moms' backyards before social media. I don't think that's a novel concept. I just think we're becoming more aware of it because of social media.
Mhm.
But that's my feeling. I think it's both hand in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we love featuring local filmmakers, actors, all of the above, everyone who loves and is involved in making movies here in this region. Tell us a little bit about your companies and where do you occupy the space of, Hollywood East?
Oh goodness, I decided to make my own mark on things, especially since, like I said, I went into this commitment when my child was born, my first one, and I wanted to have room in my life for both family and art. And it was
Mm.
very important to me. So I still work part-time and I'm committed to film, but I'm also very much committed to being a family person and not giving that side up as much as possible. So yes, I'll go away for a film shoot here and there, but other than that, like my kids come home from school and mama's here. My little one is with me, and and I get to play with her before she goes off to school when she's 5. So I have that joy of being a mom mixed in with the fact that I love to create things. So I write at home. I can do production work at home. I can do social media at home. I can do a lot of things from home aside from being on a film set, networking. So Friendly Filmmaker is the group that I started, and it's grown into a newsletter now. There are several hundred people subscribe to my weekly newsletter about film stuff. And yes, I do stuff about what I'm up to, Friendly Filmmaker projects. I try to do 4 short films a year. I'm starting to do feature films now. This is the first year where I'm doing a feature film. And guess what? I'm doing 3.
That is so exciting.
I'm so
Um,
excited. Yeah.
so are these all your brainchild? Tell me a little bit about where
I
these
try to
these.
collaborate. I do a lot of my own things, but I also sometimes when I link up with people and they tell me the stories that they want to do, I just get I get a fire in my heart, and I'm like, yes, of course I'll help you.
Mhm.
For my documentary, that's entirely me. That's going to be a full on me project, a very low budget because it's just going to be me filming. Actually, I'll come back on the show and I'll tease that one later. But
Okay, all right.
and the third one
Good
I'm working on
mystery.
also, and I appreciate, yeah, I know, a little bit of sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. See you soon. And the third one is also in development and not ready to be announced just yet, but that's also not one I wrote. But the script is absolutely fantastic. It's already won awards, so I'm excited to be working on that project as well, and I'll be a DP on that as well.
And
So
how do you
I like
feel?
to do a little bit of everything. I am she of many hats. I joke to everybody I know.
And that's exactly what you need to be, in this industry, and working your way up and just doing what comes from your heart, right? And that's what's
Absolutely.
so excited. That's what's so exciting about filmmaking too, is you can do a little bit of everything and touch something creative in that many ways.
Yes.
Um, so tell me a little bit about the people that you get to work with and the talent that you found that is here in our region.
My goodness, that's a very good question. I have been lucky enough to be on set with a lot of good people that turned into friends, and some people I've seen on multiple sets that have turned into long-term contacts. And hey, if you need a gaffer, I know a person. If you need a sound recordist, I know several people. Like I have names that I could name drop from really talented, friendly, and this is why I called it Friendly Filmmaker. It took me 4 months to come up with a name for the brand, but then when I hit it, I was like, of course, it's so perfect because the only successful sets, in my opinion, I've been on sets that have had projects that tank. That happens, and for whatever reason. But the toxicity, I'm not here for it. I don't. No, thank you. But I feel like in this community, there are so many positive vibes and people that really want to do art and really feel passionately and creatively fulfilled by contributing joyfully to a project and joyfully to a set environment. And those are the people I hang out with. Those are the people I come back to. Those are the people I help for free, and those are the people that help me for free sometimes on sets. And it's just that fostering that kind of art for art's sake, it's so indie, it's so very indie, because like yes, we have bills to pay, and yes, please do hire me for things if you think of me, but at the same time there are some days when you're just chomping at the bit because your heart wants to create something, and so you'll negotiate a sweat equity deal of like, you help me and I'll help you in some sort of situation. Like yes, we're both broke, and yes, we're struggling to make a project come alive on an indie budget versus A24 or
Mhm.
anybody above that. But you just sometimes there's a story that you want to tell and get out there, and you will hustle to make it happen. You will problem solve in whatever way you can to make it come alive. And I love that vibe. It's so
Yeah.
very present here. you name it, actors, directors, photographers, artists, like literal like artists, people who want to do storyboards for a living, production designers, musicians, um, yeah, composers, geez, name it. And they're with us, you know, they're on the friendly filmmaker list. Like I don't gatekeep. I'm not like, oh, I just do acting, or oh, I just do writing. I am she of many hats, and I speak to the people that are she of many hats, or they of many hats. And I write for whoever wants to hear about all aspects of film. And that's what my newsletter is about. And that's where I hit send, and it goes out to all those email addresses from people who do sometimes just one job that they love passionately very well to the core, and sometimes folks like me who are like people who do a lot of a little bit of everything, and sometimes friends who are interested, like they'll come on set and be a PA, but they don't really want to pursue a career, like they have a job that they're happy with, they just like to do it sometimes for fun. Those are on my email list as well, and like within the community, and I see them on my sets, and I love it. I just love it. It's just so me, and it's also so like just where I want to be. It's the
Right.
positivity of creating art that I love about this community. I just love it.
Well, your passion comes through. It really, really does. So, where can people find your newsletter? How do they sign up? How do they connect
If
with
you go
you?
to friendlyfilmmaker.com, there's a big fat subscribe button. And I refuse, for the record, from here on forever now, I refuse to put any sort of tracking on it, because Google is like, hey, I see you got a website. You want to put a little cute little UA link on that sucker? We'll put some ads on there. We'll give you some money. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. So you don't have any fear of like me selling information or any sort of sketchy things that sometimes indie people like do. Like you just don't worry. You unsubscribe, you'll never hear from me again.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Friendly is the theme. Friendly is the
friendly
theme.
is so very the theme. I keep it on my website too. Like, yeah, you're here. I'm the only one that sees your email. I'm the only one that sends an email. Like that's me. I'm
Mhm.
a one-stop shop. So yeah.
And I love that because I'm also, with the two kids, and I want to be there for them, but I also want to do my art, right? I'm more on the acting side and a little bit of the writing side. But it's so wonderful to be able to have that balance and still
Mm-hmm.
create and
My God,
connect
so
with
true.
people. So what is the ultimate dream? What do you hope to see in the next
I
few
hope
years for Julia?
somehow my long-term hope is that I set up a nice environment and a company that can earn enough from the creations that we make, such that we can pay artists and musicians and people within the community a living wage. That's my long-term goal. I also want to put out some courses for free, because I actually, as somebody who grew up in the poorer parts of Boston, I'm very keenly aware that courses cost money, and they also, by dint of that, gatekeep. People who want to learn something are literally prevented from doing it, because the expenses of the course are like sometimes boiled down to, do I eat or do I learn? Do I pay rent or do I get a chance to learn, to advance, to improve myself, and to prepare myself for a future job that I actually want to do? And they're gate kept from that by the fact that courses cost money. And so I want to put a punch in that face by offering free courses. Like literally just do the same thing that other people have. Like you can buy other people's courses, feel free. But at one point, one of my dreams for 2024 is to put together a series of courses of filmmaking, where people can literally just download the video and learn something. And I try to do little snippets of that on my YouTube channel right now. It's still growing because it's just me, a one-stop shop. So I'm still developing that end of it. But that's my 2024 goal, is to put up a free course. And then longer term goal, like I said, I want to establish a friendly filmmaker company that works by creating projects, selling our movies, and earning enough from those sales to be able to pay the people, pay a staff a living wage. So
Mhm.
that's my long-term goal.
How did you teach yourself? So where did you learn along the way?
there are
What are
two
some?
schools of
Mm,
filmmaking thought, right? There sometimes they butt heads against each other. Oh, do you need film school or don't you need film school? I was not trained in film school, so I learned on sets. I ever since I was 18, 19, I was at least on one set a year, probably closer to two. And as of late, because I was able to start my own thing, it's four sets a year at a minimum. I do the 48 every year. That teaches me a new several set of skills. It's a different kind of filmmaking, competitive filmmaking, rushed filmmaking. And then I try to make my own projects just for a year. And they may be small and they may be very low budget, but they keep me learning. Every single set teaches me something. Oh, that's what that camera trick does. Oh, that's how a
mm.
gimbal works. Oh, that's what those lenses do. I know a lot more now than I did 25 years ago when I first started. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just learned bit by bit through experience.
Exactly. And it's got to be rough right now, for the people who are in the industry and for those who want to learn, who've been, counting on those sorts of experiences with the strikes that are happening right now. I know
Yep.
the writers have their deal, but the actors are still not quite there yet. I was wondering if you had a take on all of that that's happening right now, because that's where
Yes.
I learn is that's
Anybody,
where I get my gigs to be on set.
anybody who's seen any videos of mine on the YouTube knows that I get a little salty about this
Ooh,
because
let's
I
have
just
some
don't
salt.
understand. Oh yes, let's have a little bit of salt. Drama, spill the tea. Um, I just because I'm such a sharing mom kind of person, like I always was that way. I just don't understand the mentality of people who earn crazy, crazy millions of dollars from the films that they put out, from the TV shows that they put out, and don't pay the people that helped make it happen. I don't understand why they're being so stingy, miserly, penny pinching, selfish, two yachts is not enough mentality of just not sharing. I'm looking at you, heads of, Disney.
Hmm.
I'm looking at you, heads of, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you. If you've got, three yachts and 15 vacations lined up, like, and you're not, and you're the lowest people in your company are barely making minimum wage, there's something very wrong and just immoral at this point. And so I don't understand the residuals system was set up a million and a half years ago. In the 60s people were able to live off of it until the 80s. You did one TV show once, it was put on reruns, and you were able to live off of it because yes, people were still watching your show. Yes, people were still laughing at the lines you wrote or the ways you delivered them, and those actors and writers got their residuals, justly so, because they're still entertaining people with something they made 20 years ago. Good, let's go. But now with streaming, the advent of new technology comes the advent of new opportunistic selfishness, is that, oh well, we don't have it in our contracts that we have to pay them, so we won't. And I don't like that mentality. It's so dirty and selfish.
Mm.
And so I just pay the writers, man. Thank you for settling on the writers. At last you finally see their value. Like, but now come on now, if pay the actors, please.
Yeah,
Just sit down
exactly.
and do it again for the actors. That's not what friendly filmmaker is all about. Like I was just telling you that my long-term vision, like I have a breakdown CEO plan, like where everybody's like, there's no CEO gets 17 digits versus somebody who's emptying the trash bins gets, minimum wage
Mm.
and barely so. Minimum wage is not even minimum wage at this point. Like it needs to be
No.
upped. Anyway,
Right. It's below poverty level.
it is.
Yes,
It's
but
below
yes.
poverty. You can't pay rent on minimum wage. You can't buy groceries on minimum wage. It's tragic. It's terrible. And so I just it
Yeah.
frustrates me to no end. And it really frankly disgusts me because it's just so deeply unfair that you create something with a team of people and you keep everything, almost everything that you win. You throw a few coins their way and you're like, that should be enough for you. Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, excuse me? I just don't get it. Somebody didn't raise them right. That's what I'm thinking. Is like this unethical selfishness is just no thank you. Not how I'm going to raise my kids.
Yeah.
Booyah.
There's a
Mic
lot
drop.
of there you go. Exactly, exactly. Except that mic is expensive. Don't drop it.
No, I'm not
Um,
going to. No.
I'm just
I'm not even
um
sure. I can't afford it.
great. Great sound bites there.
Yeah,
But
seriously.
it's
No.
true. It's true. So we're hoping, negotiations are still ongoing this week. So very much hoping that by the time, uh, very soon that we have a doable, livable deal.
Agreed. And the fact
Changing,
that they settled for the writers is encouraging because even if they
yeah.
have to rousingly admit that, hey, you're not going to have a new show without writers, guess what? Even if they have to be pulled by the wallet instead of by the heartstrings, at
Hmm.
least they're coming to the table. So I'm optimistic that the strike will end soon for the actors. That was the first dinner bell, was that the writers got their due, and hopefully I'm optimistic that it will end soon and fairly so for the actors. But stay strong, man, because I mean, again, if they don't have talented faces to put in the scenes, then you're not going to have any entertainment. That's just what it boils down to.
Exactly. There's no content without creators. The creators
For
make
real.
it. It just doesn't make any sense. Um,
Exactly.
so, Julia, before we let you go, is there anything else that people need to know about you? Oh, wait, actually, I had a more specific question. Tell me about a favorite project that you have made so far, and then we'll wrap up with all of your socials where people can find you.
Favorite project. That's like picking a favorite child. It's
Oh
almost
no.
unfair. But oh man, I've learned so much with all the things that I've done. I mean, my short film Guidance has won multiple awards because it was written from a place of love. Another short film that I did, Fortune Teller, people have been asking me to turn it into a feature because it's the kind of creepy thriller that and mind games that I love to write, and subverting expectations is like one of my favorite things. But I mean, recently I did Dibs on Mars, which was the first musical I've ever done for a 48 hour because we pulled that out of the lottery and we were ready for it. The music is great. And the fun that we had making that fever dream of a movie is unparalleled. Like everybody who had an idea was like, yes, should I kiss the clown shoes? Yes, please do. Should I play basketball? Yes, please do. I should dump this on my head instead of drinking it. Yes, please do. This chessboard is a drink now. Great. Yes, let's make it happen. It was feverishly, artistically, hilariously fun. It was great.
Yeah.
Um, and and now I'm working on more projects that light a fire in my spirit. So it's hard to answer just one.
Yeah.
It's not
And
about diplomacy. It's just about my own intrinsic artistic selfishness. Like I can't pick.
yeah, and pursuing that joy. So, Julia, where can people find you on the social medias, your websites? Just plug it all.
I'm everywhere on social media, but the best place is All Roads Lead to Rome. Go to friendlyfilmmaker.com. You will get links to my newsletter there, and you will find my YouTube channel from there. So www.friendlyfilmmaker.com, and all roads lead there. So go
All
right
right.
ahead.
Best of luck in all of your projects. We hope to have you back on soon. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a joy. Bye.
I'm glad.
All right, fantastic interview, Jamie. Be sure to keep track of Julia and her career, her projects in the future. We'll list any social media stuff down below. But yeah, Julia, thank you so much for joining us on the Hub on Hollywood.
If you had fun watching that, then like and subscribe. Check out the links in the description, and check out our Ko-fi page for more details and more information. All right, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.